welcome back to Gluten Dairy-Free Kitchen. And today I'm here and I'm going to be making gluten dairy-free pizza and cobbler. But in this video, we're just going to be making the dough.
Right.
So in these 4 bowls, this big bowl, I have 4 cups of flour. This is a doubled recipe, so if you don't want to make a doubled recipe, you can just have all the ingredients.
Here's some flour. Okay.
And then this bowl, I just have like about a cup of extra flour because you will definitely need extra flour, so make sure you have some on hand. Don't use all your flour up. And then in this bowl, you can't really tell, I have 2 packets of yeast. I have, hold on, where did the yeast packet go? Because I can't remember the amount. I have about, careful, it might fall out. I have about 3½ tablespoons of sugar, and then about a teaspoon of salt. And then in this bowl, which I'm not going to lift up, it is 4 1/3 cups of water and 6 tablespoons of oil. So yeah, we are making double since we're making 2 big pizzas, maybe, yeah, 2 pizzas and cobbler, and yeah. So let's get started. So make sure you wash your hands because you are eventually going to have to get your hands into it no matter what, because you just have to because you've got to knead it and everything. But if you have kitchen gloves, those would work too. But we don't, so we're just going to do it this way. So I'm going to start in by adding all the other dry ingredients, sugar, salt, and yeast. And I'm just going to take this spoon that I used to stir up the oil and water and use it to stir up the dry ingredients. Also, that extra flour is to flour your hands so that they don't stick, so the dough doesn't stick as bad. Now, believe me, it still sticks, but it's not as bad. Actually, when you're making gluten and dairy-free dough, it doesn't stick to your hands as much as real flour, non-gluten and dairy-free dough does. So it's actually a lot easier to make just because for that reason. Because when I was making real pizzas, it just stuck to my hands and it built up and it would not come off. So this it still does it, but it's not as bad. Okay, so now I think I've got it all mixed in enough. I'm going to make like a circle. You can get your hands into this part, but I'm not going to get my hands into it quite yet until I need it. There we go. So, get that off my hands. Okay, and now I'm going to slowly, you're going to pour a little bit at a time. You don't want to pour all of your liquid in, just a little bit. And you guys actually might want to have some extra water on hand because you might find that it will take a little bit extra water than it says. I have to always add extra water. This is very warm. It's not as warm as it was when I first put it in there, but you want to use very warm water to activate the yeast. So I'm just going to slowly add this in. And then I'm going to add a little bit more. And when it gets time to kneading, which it's not time yet, I will knead for about 3½, 4-ish minutes. If you don't want to over knead, especially if you're using the dough to make like an apple pie cobblerish kind of dish, it doesn't matter so much about the pizza part. It will make the crust a lot softer if you don't over knead. But I found that out, that it makes it a lot softer and just tastes a lot better. So as you guys can see, I've added in all of my liquids and I'm just going to stir it up. As you can see, it might need a little bit extra flour. I don't know yet because I haven't added in haven't stirred all the flour in yet. Looking like it might need extra liquid actually. So really quickly before I actually get my hands into this, I'm going to go get a little bit more liquid. Not that I'm going to add it in yet, but it's just better to have. I'm going to let that water get hot really quick because definitely don't want to use cold water because the yeast won't do right. Let's see if this is hot. Come on. So the water is getting warm, and yeah, it's definitely going to need a little bit more liquid, but here it is so far. Let me go see if that is hot now. Yep. Okay, so I have grabbed some more water. I'm just going to pour a little bit in, a little at a time. Okay, and now I'm just going to start stirring that in. So even though these recipes will say a certain amount of liquid, it definitely almost always needs a little bit extra. So yeah, add a little bit more in. So yeah, okay. This is just now starting to form a little bit of a ball, not really best because it still needs more liquid. So yeah. We might not need the extra flour that much today, but definitely for hands and things. Okay, this still needs more liquid. That is one thing about these pizza recipes. It takes more liquid than it says. All the time. Luckily, the water has stayed hot, so I didn't have to wait for hot water. Just pour, but definitely don't pour it all in at the same time, or you will have a disaster. Your dough will not turn out. Just slowly add it in. Keep stirring until it forms a ball, and then you're ready to get your hands in and knead. But we're not quite there yet. Okay, still needs a little bit more because there is some flour that is not incorporated and it is not forming a nice ball yet. So, and if you add the oil straight to the flour, straight to the water, there will actually be a little bit of oil left in the water in that bowl, or if you did it like I did. But if you didn't, there will not. But there's a little extra oil in there. So I think this is ready to get my hands in. It still might need a little bit extra water. I'm not sure yet. May need more flour. I'm not sure because I can't tell until I get my hands in. So a lot of times I will get a little bit of water on my hands once I can get this dough with my fingers, just to help the flour stick a little bit better. But you don't have to have a lot, just a little to where they're damp. And then you're going to pour flour on your hands and then just get them all together. You also want to do the tops of your hands because the tops always get dough on them too. Kind of forms like a batter type stuff on your hands. So, here it is. And now I'm going to see if it'll form a ball. See, nothing is sticking to my hands yet. So, it might stick a little bit, but it isn't so far. That means it will definitely stick on your wrist. It always gets on my wrist, and I always forget the flour on my wrists. Definitely need to flour on your wrists. So, this is actually a really good consistency, I think, so far. I don't think it really needs any more flour, maybe just a little tad bit, because there is a little bit of really soft dough at the bottom. And I'm going to try and set a timer for 3 minutes. I'll start with that, and if I feel that the dough is not coming into a nice ball, I'll go on to a little bit, maybe a minute longer from kneading. So, yeah. It is coming very nicely along here. So there is our dough. Haven't kneaded it yet. But one thing that when you're kneading real dough, A lot of times if you stick your finger in and it rises back up, you'll know it's kneaded enough. It does not work that way with gluten-free flour. So you just gotta have to do it until you think it is a good consistency and the kind of dough that you like, and that it will form a nice ball, and you can you can form it into different shapes and things. So actually, my pizza, why I didn't want a barbecue pizza is I wanted a plain one. I love the barbecue pizzas because I had one a couple weeks ago, well, maybe a week or two ago. They're delicious, but I want some regular pizza. But I'm going to make my pizza in the shape of a pumpkin, just to be cute, because I think that'd be cute because it's fall. So, yeah. This really doesn't really need to be kneaded that much. I'm going to finish out this 3 minutes, even though I haven't consistently kneaded it, because I just don't want to overknead it. So, yeah, I think we can stop the video here because basically I'm just going to finish.
Can we show the Reynolds wrap?
Oh, no.
Let me show it. Let's see, because this is so necessary. Okay, this makes for a good pizza. So, and we're going to use 2 cookie sheets, and we are also using this for the cobbler. We have a cake pan that has a Rubbermaid lid for afterwards. So we are going to be putting this in there, but we'll do a video on making cobbler as well. Okay, guys.
So
also,
one thing,
yeah,
you're gonna finish kneading this and let it rise for 30 minutes in a warm area.
Yeah, usually we set the oven to 170 and then turn it off, and we put the dough inside the oven for about 20 minutes to let it set.
Not directly after we turn
right.
it off,
You let it
kill the dough.
Yeah, you don't want to kill it. You just let it cool just a little bit, and then put it in the oven until about 20 minutes. Okay, guys. Bye. Yep.
I will see you guys next time.